Hi, everybody, my pickles, my snowflakes, my turtles, my no matter what club members, and my Goldilocks. Are you a Goldilocks? I am when it comes to my coffee and other things in my life, too. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. So, how is everybody doing today? I have a question for you. I just was on one of those Facebook pages that I belong to, Carnivore for Women. I think it's called Carnivore Tribe, something like that. There's a picture of a lion on the top. Anyway, and the question came up about how much protein everybody is eating. And there's no two answers that are like. We are all snowflakes when it comes to how we handle our protein. And a lot of them eat half the protein that I eat. I'm surprised because I usually have 125 to 140 grams of protein a day. Today I'm having, I think it's 14 or 15 ounce ribeye steak, and I think I'm having eggs with it too. But I was just kind of curious, how much meat do you eat every day? Just curious. I have a hunka. Sometimes I'm not counting the egg part, but like the other day I had boneless beef ribs and short ribs. They were 9 ounces, and then I had 2 eggs with an ounce of cheese. And, so my protein is up there, but I'm curious about the meat that you eat. Like today, if I have that ribeye, it's going to be 14 to 15 ounces, I'm pretty sure. I haven't weighed it yet, and when I do, then I go into the chronometer and change it up. But yeah, I'm good for it. I have OMAD, one meal a day, and so I get that in. Some of the ladies were saying that was too much for them, ounce-wise as well as one meal. And so they break it down, and sometimes they had 1 to 4 meals a day with 4 ounces of a fatty meat each time they ate. So they're still feeding their gut. Like I always picture the guy with the coal putting in the shovels full of coal into the furnace. And that's how I used to eat when it was standard American diet and definitely Weight Watchers. But now I'm down to the 1 meal a day with my food plan, and it works for me. I like being empty for like 23 to 24 hours. It just suits me. And I'm out of the house anyway doing Ubering and lifting. And so, yes, they're verbs. And so when I come home and I put the 1 meal together for Greg and me, it's just that much easier and predictable. I think I've been doing OMAD for a couple of years. I didn't like work up to it and, this is the day. It just happened, and I said, if I didn't like it, I didn't have to do it. I loved it. I did it the next day. And I always held out it's okay for me to go back to 2MAD. I was at 2MAD at that point, eating once at noon and once at 3. And then I went to the OMAD. So it's kind of like between 2 and 4, especially when Greg is working. If I'm working, then it's definitely at 3 in the afternoon because I go to bed at 4:30. But I'm down to 2 overnights a week, so that there are no words to describe how wonderful that feels, getting all these nights at home. But anyway, so I like it. And a lot of them were doing glucose monitors and blood sugar and measuring their ketones and really getting scientific and technical about it. I'm just wondering how you people are. Do you keep it simple and just eat to satiety, push yourself away from the table? I used to say in a lot of my videos, probably like a whole year ago, that I pushed myself away from the table, never stuffed. I ate enough. I knew I was full, but I never had that stuffed / too much feeling, you know. So it was always the Goldilocks part. It was always just enough, just right. And because I used the same 7-inch luncheon plate, my Fiesta blue plate now, sometimes I switch colors, I can see what that hunka burning love on the plate is, usually beef, although I had those pork spare ribs yesterday, and I could go another few months without having them. But I like my beef. And so it does work for me having those 14 to 16 ounces and with the eggs on the side, sometimes with cheese, sometimes not. And that's about as simple as I can make it. So tonight is that ribeye. I'll weigh it, and that'll make the difference between the eggs that I have. But do any of you eat more meat than you're comfortable with, but you haven't really changed it up? Or do you have less because of all those technical scientific measurements that you use for your blood sugar and things like that? Have you experimented with the amount of ounces to get to that sweet spot of where you can continue to lose if that's your goal, or not gain if that's your goal? So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, my protein is 133 today and my fats are 77. A lot of them were saying that they have whole lot more fat than they do protein. And so sometimes they add more butter and fats. And I just find it also fascinating. And then, I've listened to some women do videos and they have like 1.5 to 2 pounds of just meat a day. So it's a fascinating study. And yeah, I have 14 ounces of ribeye planned and 2 eggs and no cheese. And I guess the butter is my extra fat because I cook the beef in the fat and then I pour what's rendered in the pan over it. Yeah, that's my heaven, but no cheese today. So, I like that. It doesn't feel cleaner, like in my gut. I don't think that dairy is a problem for me. I do have the Keto non-dairy creamer in my coffees, and this had one tablespoon of Organic Valley ghee in it this morning too, because this is my morning fat coffee that I have before I turn on my apps and get out and drive. So I guess I'll show you my macros. I don't think I did. And it's not like I shave them or make a difference, but maybe I should. Do any of you do that still? Just curious how you handle your foods, your macros, your ounces of meat. So my calories today are 1,227. My protein is 133 grams. My carbs are total 1.4. And my fats are 73 grams. So that's how that one works. And, sometimes we can get technical and keep it from being simple. I like it simple. As I've said to you, I've gained a few pounds since I've gone mostly meat. And I don't know if that's a temporary situation or if this is just my new set point now that I'm renourishing my body, because I was having under 40 grams of protein for many, many years and thinking that that was that. But then, and somebody asked me a question yesterday. They said, Dr. Cyrus said that lean protein turns to sugar and you'll gain weight in your body. And I was wondering if that is the call to have the more fat, because if you have the more fat, then it's not lean protein, it's fatty protein. I don't know. It's also confusing for me. So if any of you have figured it out and are still able to keep it simple and not get wrapped around the axle with it, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, so I guess maybe it does count for a woman or an older woman. I don't know. I really don't. I go with what makes me feel full and can go another 23, 24 hours to my next OMAD. I talk about my coffees being bridges. They are. I do put the Keto non-dairy creamer in my 3 cups. I do put 14 grams of a fat, be it ghee, butter, or the Omega Power Creamer in my coffee in my first cup. I do add Xyla. I have Xyla in my coffee. I still like a little sweet. And then I do pink Himalayan salt and diatomaceous earth. And I whip that up and enjoy the froth. It's like having the whipped cream on top of that, something before diving into the rest of it. It's delicious. My version of delicious. I do appreciate and love my cups of coffee. They carry me. They are bridges. And I like bridges. I put in long days, my driving, my housekeeping, to and fro when I do Uber Eats. I'm in and out of the car a lot. So I'm very active still. And, but I still look forward to my small pleasure of coffee. Always have. Don't plan on giving it up anytime soon. And no, I don't count the carbs. I've added cold brew along with my Keurig drip, and it's good. I like it. So I have different cups of coffee. The 3 cups that I have different ones through the day, but they always have the pink Himalayan salt, diatomaceous earth. Google diatomaceous earth to see what benefits it may have and for your body, and a little bit of Xyla and the Keto creamer. So that's my deal. But just curious about, and men too, how many ounces of meat do you have every day? And is that, in addition to that, do you have eggs? Just curious how people run their ship of carnivore. I will see you the next time. Thank you for listening. Look forward to your comments. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, with Keto, Carnivore, Carnivish, all the good stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.